Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. For those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on a video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. Or I'm my alter ego, Miss Vanity Scarlet. So we're here to do a reaction. We're diving back into the Miracle of Teddy Bear. We're diving into episode 8. And yeah, towards the end of episode 7, we went through a lot of emotions on episode 7, but it seemed as though Nut and Tofu came to an understanding. We kind of patched things up a little bit, and we were in a good-ish place. That being said, there's still plenty of time. We haven't even started the episode, so there's still plenty of time for them to try and emotionally devastate me, all of us. So we're gonna dive in and just prepare for the emotional devastation. Okay, so another episode that we survived without intense emotional damage, and this is progress. We like progress. Not to say that there wasn't heavily emotional stuff happening. There was a lot of that happening in the middle there, towards the beginning. I feel like I talked on most of it while it was happening, but yes, the whole Jan situation. Again, I understand where she is coming from. I understand, like, as a person who is in a relationship, in a committed relationship, I understand where she's coming from, feeling like her partner, her spouse, does not love her, is in love with somebody else, and wanting to keep tabs. Like, hey, are you going to visit this person? Are you seeing this person when you're married to me? Because at that point in time, like, you know, we're married, blah, blah, blah. We said I do. We gave vows and whatnot. So don't go stepping outside the marriage. You don't love me? Fine, whatever. Don't marry me. But it seemed like from the flashbacks we were getting, we got a lot of flashbacks and we fleshed out a lot of details in this episode. So from flashbacks we were seeing, it's seeming like they were on the same page going into this marriage. She knew he didn't love her. He knew that she and his brother were scheming to break up he and Na. So they were all on the same page going into this. So it should be no surprise that this marriage didn't work out, that it was full of mistrust, this, that, the other. So you agreed to enter into this marriage. Well, you got to be a part of this marriage. Don't go stepping outside the marriage. So I can understand that part of the narrative. Like, okay, if I were in this marriage and I felt like my partner was stepping out on me, I'd be like, hey, no, what's going on? Where are you going? Blah, blah, blah. That being said, it does not give her the right to hire someone to follow him. No. But I understand where the logic is coming from, because she's like, you loved her, you never loved me, blah, blah. And it was a little harsh, a little too forward and honest the way he was addressing that. Where he's like, yeah, I never loved you. If it wasn't for your father, you guys scheming and your father basically forcing me into marrying you, then I would have made a mistake and this, that, the other. And yes, it was very harsh, but Jan needed to hear it, because at this point, just kind of like Prib needs to hear certain things. Like, I don't want her to get her feelings hurt, but it's getting to the point where it's like, it's ridiculous, and I need you to just come to grips with the reality of the situation. It's one thing to try and hold on to this idea because you think that this person might love you, blah, blah, blah. But like, when you are fully aware of the reality, it is slapping you in the face. You gotta just deal with it at some point. So Jan needed to hear these things. Prib needs to hear these things. But that was enough to set Jan off, and then she ran over to Na's house and just laid into her, just yelling, screaming, da 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 da. And he's my husband. Look at these pictures. You keep wanting to pretend. And she was just going off, and Sen's trying to hold her back. Tofu's trying to hold her back, trying to keep them apart. And Jan just keeps going in and shaking and grabbing and pulling hair to the point where Na's getting nauseous. She throws up on Jan. I'm like, Jan, you deserved it. And thankfully, it doesn't seem like that incident, like her throwing up and blacking out, was too intense of like a medical condition. It seemed as though it might have just been a result of the medication and being physically shaken repeatedly for minutes that, you know, caused her to have that sort of reaction. Because I imagine if it were something more serious, they would have announced it in the episode when she was in the hospital. So thankfully it wasn't anything more serious there. But while I don't like the methodology, like I don't like the means that we took to get here, I do like that this episode we did get a lot of just personal growth, like piggybacking off of the conversation Tofu was having with Na last episode about living it, you know, sometimes nightmare is just the beginning of, you know, a good place, and you need to eventually gotta wake up, blah blah blah, because you might be missing out on the loved ones around you, this, that, the other. So piggybacking off that conversation with the events that happened here, and then the conversation that Sen was having with Nut in the hospital over, you know, Na's hospital bed, like it was enough for Na to finally just get up the courage at least to face the reality of the things going on. Yes, it was hard. It was painful. There were a lot of memories coming back to her when she stepped into that house. We were getting a lot of flashbacks, a lot of details being fleshed out between that her flashbacks and the story that Sen was telling. Like, we got a lot of information. And yeah, some of it was difficult for her to. Some of them were very happy memories. Some of them were very, very difficult memories. Some of them were memories, you know, leading to why she ended up breaking up with Sen, because everyone around her was filling her head with these ideas that Sen is not the one, Sib is the one, this, that, the other. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, Sen is trying so hard to be the one, and Sen really is. He loves her, she loves him, but there's all these outside forces just trying to intervene, with keeping him at work so he can't be there, this, that, the other. And like Sib and Jan just playing a really dirty game, and it's like, oh, where Sib's involvement, like the game he was playing, working with Jan, trying to break them up so he could pick up the pieces, it's coming from a very malicious, dirty, evil kind of place. Sen didn't seem to have those intent. Like, yes, he borrowed this money, but it didn't seem to be the intent of like, I'm going to borrow this money so I can beat my brother. It seemed like, you know, no, I'm borrowing this money because she needs it, and I love her, and I want to help her in some way, shape, or form. And even, we remember last episode, Sib was like, look, you're not doing her any favors, because you're just prolonging her grandmother's suffering, so just let her go, essentially. You know, let grandma die and don't take out this loan. But yeah, so Sib is playing a dirty game for other malicious reasons, and Sen was just trying to help the woman he loved, and it's sad. It's sad to see how many outside forces were intervening and caused the end of the relationship. And there were so many people like, it's the right choice, you know, you won't regret it, be with me, you won't regret it, you know, blah blah blah. And I'm like, y'all, that did not age well, because it seems like everybody is just full of regrets because of this decision that was made. Yeah, but one thing I did like about that hospital conversation was when Tofu was like, I'll leave you guys alone, and Nut's like, no, you stay here. I'm like, it's sweet. There were so many sweet moments there where, and even, you know, Tofu confessing that he'd been drugging Na, or, you know, giving her medication secretly, and he's like, you can hit me, and Tofu's like, or Nut's like, how could I hit you? You know, no, you were just doing everything because you wanted me happy and you wanted my mom happy. And like, there were just so many nice moments between them where in past episodes, Nut would have flown off the handle and just like screamed, yelled, shouted, pushed, shoved, punched, whatever it may have been towards Tofu. And here it was just understanding and hugs and just nice. Like, the growth is beautiful. I love to see the growth. I'm still curious as to what the situation between Jan, Sen, and Tarn, I think, the nephew, what that is. We got a little bit more flashbacks with Sen essentially looking like he was warning Tarn about something. I don't think Sen was trying to threaten him in any way, shape, or form. I think he was legitimately worried about him. He might have had some idea that something was going to go down. But then Jan was like, you went to visit him because you want him gone just like I did. And I'm like, is happening? What is happening here? Where is this plot line going? I don't know. Meanwhile, we've got Songs Daddy out here stalking and watching, and I'm like, I don't know where this plot line is going. Like I said, there are a couple times Tofu's magic, like he's working these miracles with Nut and Na, and it's beautiful to see, but it makes me worried that we might not have a whole lot of time left with Tofu in this universe, because obviously we only have so many episodes left, but like, it's a miracle of Teddy Bear, I feel like, because there's some miracle that he's supposed to work. I don't think the miracle is just that he turned into a human. Like, I feel like he turned into a human for some reason, and I don't know that he's going to stay human at the end of this, and it makes me sad, because I love the idea of him and Nut. I love this. I think they are adorable. They're precious. When they are communicative and they understand each other, they are adorable, and I love them. So I don't want to see Nut. I don't want to see him lose Tofu in that regard. I don't want to see Tofu turn back into a bear and just, like, you know, I don't want to see any of that. But we'll just have to wait and see. Again, in Song, I need more of them. I love them. I love their interactions. I love them on the basketball court. I love how Gen was essentially like me, where he's like, you know, I'm not gonna ask you. I'm not gonna force you to tell me anything, but I will be here to listen. So if you want to tell me something, you can tell me something. If you don't want to tell me something, you don't have to tell me something, but I'll be here. Because that's how I am most of the time. I'm not going to pry or press you for information, but if you need to talk or if you need someone to listen, let me know. I'm here. But yeah, they're getting so close to kissing, and just, they are adorable, they're precious. I love them, and I love how forward Song was being there in that last little scene where he's like, I have friends. I want you. I'm like, girl, you better let him know. You better let him know. I'm hoping that, again, this rainbow birthday cake doesn't trigger some sort of unhappy core memory in Nut's mind, and it goes well. I'm hoping it goes well. I need Perb to just get a clue at this point. It's just getting on my damn nerves. I think that's the majority of the thing. So yeah, all in all, it was a great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was filled with lots of information, lots of highs, not too many emotional lows, aside from the huge blow up. Again, acting in this series is so damn good. Oh my god, while I didn't like seeing Jan go after Na, that whole scene, the way it was being directed, the way it was filmed, and the acting was just so damn good, so believable, so raw, and I'm like, oh my god, y'all better act your asses off. So yeah, love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah.